My name is Cheryl, and I work for Access, and I am here today with Curt Block, and he is known as C Block, and he works for Hard 80's radio station. And he is the co-founder, owner, and an on-air personality. Hi, Curt.
Hi, Cheryl. How are you?
I am good. I got that all out in one breath.
You did great. Fabulous.
So we are here today with Curt, and he is known on his radio station, for many of you that listen, as C Block. And you have just done a phenomenal job having your own radio station. And I'm wondering if you can tell me a little bit how you got started being interested in music, first off, and when did you get started on the radio?
Okay, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to. I'll shed some light onto the whole mystery, I guess. My whole getting interested in music was for, I think, most people in our age group, me being in my 40s, not giving any secrets away there, was radio. Really, we didn't have social media in the 70s. And there was, internet or anything like that. So we were chained to our FM, rock and roll radio. And sometimes even AM. I mean, really.
Right.
Right. So it was growing up listening to whatever the hottest rock song. I think the one song that cemented it for me was listening to Dirty Deeds from 80's on the radio. That was really a catalyst.
Okay.
And then hearing Van Halen, The Cradle of Rock, Boston. It really started with a very classic, rock-oriented foundation for me. And from that point, I really leaned towards the ACDC, where I think all my other friends were like, Kiss, 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 and Kiss.
Right.
And I kind of just was like, yeah, but what about ACDC? And so they just really resonated with me. I later went on to get into Van Halen and Kiss and everything else along the way, but it was FM radio until I got I think I bought Back in Black, and I bought the first Boston album, and I bought an REO Speedwagon album, and then it's like, ooh, I can get the stuff on vinyl or whatever.
Right.
And the fire was lit at that point. So.
Now, did you play? Were you also a musician at one time when you were younger?
I did. Cheryl, I played drums for quite a while, and I thought I could sing. It turns out I really can't. But I really loved the rhythmic aspect of rock and roll.
Okay.
The rhythm guitar, the drums. I played drums. I started probably when I was about 12. And kind of worked my way through my formative high school years being a drummer, and then a little past. Played with several different bands, played a few shows, but unfortunately, my career as a drummer kind of came to an end.
Right, but it's really nice that you played music yourself, so you can put yourself in the place of musicians, and you also do interviews. That's a big part of your job at the radio station. So you know how the business works.
It helps. It absolutely does. Right. It does.
And so, when was your first radio job? When did you first get interested in doing radio? Did you go to school for it, or are you just self-taught?
Well, how I got interested in radio, I think I was always interested. And this goes back to your first question, is it kind of ties into how I got interested into music. It was hearing these big FM DJs back in the 70s. It wasn't like it was now. Back then, it was, man, you had to have those golden pipes. You had that personality. It was the big rock FM thing. I grew up in central Wisconsin, and so there was a station called WIFC, and then there was another station in Appleton called WAPL.
Okay.
There were two formative stations for me to listen to, and so not only hearing the great music I liked, I heard these voices coming over my radio, and then eventually my stereo and the car.
Sure.
And I'm like, God, these guys get to not only talk to thousands and thousands of people, but you have that notion in your head that they can play whatever they want, which maybe they could, maybe they couldn't.
Right. They probably could.
You have to use logs at some point, but I thought, what a cool way to go. And then, I kind of let it go because, again, I was tracing that like, what I want to be a drummer. I want to be you want to be in front of the microphone,
Sure,
or,
instead of behind.
On the stage, right. And so then I came back. I was probably a year or two out of high school, just kind of getting into my early 20s, and I started thinking about it again. And so that's when I thought, well, I'll try. I went to broadcasting school in Minneapolis, Minnesota, called Brown College, or at the time was Brown Institute. Kind of well known for pumping a lot of good on-air talent across the country. And I guess in hindsight, if I were to look at it, looking at student loan and debt and this and what they taught me, there was some value to it. But overall, I really ended up honing my own skill just by doing.
Sure, you learn a lot.
Yeah, so I actually went to school. I had friends that were working in the radio. I went down to the radio stations, hung out with them, and that really kind of solidified the fact that, I should go to school and do this because, and in the early 90s, that was a really big push for it. Like, you got to go to school. You have to go to school. Like, okay, all right.
Sure.
So off I go. I got my degree in broadcast journalism and came back, and my first job out was a job at country radio.
Oh, okay, that's interesting, right?
Yeah, the big rock and roll guys like, hey, can you? And my demo tape was actually country, and they told us, they said, listen, that was the hot rise of country about 93 to 94. Things were really starting to pick up for country.
Yeah.
And they said, if you want to get a job immediately out of the gate from graduation, kind of make a country demo. And I did, some commercial spots, some, rampy music, and, just, whatever you put on your demo, and off you go. And so, WYTE, Today's Hot Country, on your all-time favorites.
That's crazy. C Block was on the country station.
Yeah, I'm kind of letting the secret out of the bag. I usually keep that close to the vest.
All your listeners they're going to know now, right?
I will cross borders for you, Cheryl. But so that was my first taste of radio, and it was, it was nerve-wracking, to say the least. All of a sudden you've gone to school, there's something you've wanted to do, and even though you're not crazy about the format, you crack that mic and you give it your all.
Right.
And, but the palms were wet and, shaking a little bit, but you get through it. And then the next day leads to the next day, and pretty soon it gets a little bit smoother. And then I came back to my hometown just south of Minneapolis here and ended up getting into classic rock format on our local station, which is about a medium market. And, that's when the fire kind of really started peaking up. And, I got really more involved with radio, doing the personal appearances and cutting more commercials, doing more interviews, stuff like that. And it really, the format kind of fit what I was
Right, that was a good fit for you, the classic.
And I know they say it shouldn't matter, but it does. I can't lie, because you have to be a little bit enthusiastic about going to work and be able to spin the music that you like to play. And even if it's, Bob Seger and Zeppelin and at times AC/DC and Rainbow and all that, and Ted Nugent and stuff like that, it all works. It at least fuels that fire for you. So that's kind of how that got started, yeah.
Now, did you, as we know, you do a lot of interviews. That's part of your job.
Kind of, yeah.
As well.
Yeah, it became,
Do you have a favorite interview that sticks out in your mind, or one that was particularly hard, like you couldn't get the person to talk? And I also want to know, who was the interview that just left you starstruck, that you were...
You're gonna get me into trouble here. Honestly, and I'm being 100% honest, Cheryl. We haven't had a quote-unquote hard interview. We've had distractions when you're doing the interview. Kids coming in the room on their end, phones disconnecting. You get those situations that are part of today's, technology, I guess, if you will.
Right, little glitches.
Not hard, and knock on wood that hopefully I won't have a hard one, but you also asked about which one I kind of got starstruck on, and this is a very recent interview we did with Robin McCauley from the McCauley Shaker Group, or Amy also played with Survivor and Raiding the Rock Vault in Las Vegas. Now, starstruck, I guess that's as close as I have gotten so far, because to me, Robin got to play and work with one of my all-time heroes, growing up
Right.
with Michael Schenker. And, knew a lot of the people that I idolized and listened
Sure.
to, and just, like the Scorpions and guys Maiden and stuff like that, sat down and we talked about that, and we did a 90-minute interview with him. We broke it into, 3 or 4 parts, and having him tell stories about running into, Bruce Dickinson on the Peace of Mind tour, or the Number of the Beast tour, and then playing, Robin playing his first festival with, Motorhead headlining, and when he was in Grand Prix, and then
Right.
Turning Michael Schenker down in '83, he wasn't ready yet. And it was just,
that's your history right there. That's your life. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And so you have to maintain that professionalism. Like,
Right.
get this interview, make it good, make it sound great. But at the same time, you're looking at, like, my partner in crime, Hammer, on the show, Scott. You're looking at him going, oh my God, this is amazing.
This is the best.
You're trying to maintain that. So we're all as fans, and there's always a little bit of nerves when you're setting these interviews up, because granted, yes, they're people just like us, but at the same time, they've accomplished something that I think you're in awe of,
Right.
of popularity,
Absolutely.
money, fame, and fortune. So you respect that, and you give that back to them. But yeah, so far so good. If we hit a really tough one, I'll certainly call you back.
Right. Okay. Did you ever have? Maybe that was your favorite. Did you have a favorite maybe that you found really fun, or?
Yeah, I think Robin, and probably the craziest and the most fun was doing. We did Mark Duff Scott, the drummer for Trickster.
Okay.
You remember Trickster?
I do remember them. I do.
The 90s, Give It To Me Good, and still going strong. And Mark came in right before Christmas around 2015 and knocked it dead. And it was just, I'm a talker. I know you can't tell.
Yes.
Mark came in and ran the show, and we didn't get a hold on to your life type deal, and he just, if anybody wants a chance to listen to some of these interviews, they are posted up on our website.
Okay.
We'll get to that probably later. I'll promote that a little bit if you don't mind. But
Sure.
those interviews are fun because you don't know what you're going to get. He's an East Coast guy living in Arizona, and it was just a mile a minute. It was a blast, and wow.
And that's fun when you can get somebody in there to do that kind of. And it sounds like he spent a little bit of time with you there beyond the interview, maybe.
Yeah, well, we call them or they call in, and then we'll talk for 10, 15, and then we'll do the interview, and then we stay on the phone with them a little bit afterwards. And it's something, like I said, I tease Scott a lot. I said, dude, our interviews never seem to be under 80, 90 minutes. I guess for us, that's become natural. Because we ask our artists and the people that we're interviewing to share with us as much as they can. I want my listeners on Hard 80's Radio to immerse themselves and kind of visualize what that road was like from, being in high school and taking it up into being signed and on the road and the fame and everything else. So sometimes that takes a while to tell that story. And
Absolutely.
especially when we talk to artists or musicians that have been in several, big bands that, they have a story to tell and it needs to be heard. So sometimes you can't, but Scott's always the one like pointing at his wrist going, wrap it up, let's go.
Yeah.
He kind of keeps me in check. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Now, do you have somebody that you are really interested in interviewing that you have not done so yet? Do you have a dream interview? A dream interview.
Yeah, my wish list is really long and distinguished, I guess. I'm working on a couple of them right now. I can't give anything away, but I guess an all-time would be like, I think the members of the Scorpions for me would be huge. Talking Klaus and Rudolph and because there's a band with like a 50-year history and just so many iconic songs that for me personally, it was just a big part of my 80s mesh and growing up. Obviously, you have your big ones like the guys in AC/DC or Judas Priest and all these big artists. But I think next to Scorpions, I think the next one that would be really fun and Sammy Hagar.
Oh,
I'm a big Red rocker. I know Sammy's just, you know, when you watch Sammy on all forms of media, he's just open, friendly, crazy, easy to talk to. And, you know, that's what I probably will hunt down in the near future as well.
Oh, he would be a blast. If you could get Sammy in there. If you get Sammy in there, I'm coming.
I think, you know, pretty much. I just turn the mic on and go, okay, Sammy, go. You know, it would be one that would probably run 2 hours.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You know, so, yeah, I mean, again, I'm, you know, I guess those are the 2 big ones, Scorpion, Sammy Hagar. And working on, you know, I'm constantly working on. I think everybody that we talk to is all. I try to, you know, they're all fans, and I'm a fan of their music, and it's all important to me. So I find that to be very, you know, very intriguing. Because it all has a part of what we celebrate on Hard 80's Radio is that decade of decadence, you know,
right?
And not only, you know, are we playing music from the hard rock and 70s through the mid 90s and the melodic stuff, but the 80s is our core. So when we're talking to these artists, you know, we always try to get at least the original member of the band to tell us what it was like.
And that's really nice. That's a nice.
It is. Because, you know, that's what people are going to identify with. So to single out any one that's more important than another, no. I mean, yeah, we all have our wish list, like, oh, I'd love to talk to. But that's just being 100% honest, you know.
Sure.
But I've enjoyed and loved talking to everybody that we've had a chance to talk to thus far and continue to talk to, and it's been great thus far. It's been great.
And now, new bands, I think that you are in the position, working with a radio station, that you probably see a lot of new bands come through.
We do.
That you help.
Absolutely. That's a great point, Cheryl. You know, and I'm glad you asked about it, because a lot of people think that we're maybe strictly just they just play 80s rock or, you know, some 90s rock. And it's like, no, we also feature new artists, and we stream live. And I want everybody to know that we are streaming live 24/7. And on top of every hour, okay, we have New Rock with Attitude. And we set that up with a positioner or a sweeper. And we give, I mean, so that's a lot. That's 24 hours. That's 24 new bands, you know, in a day, in a full day that we feature, and we keep rotating them. They'll go into a 2 to 5 week rotation, you know, depending on feedback, checking the analytics, how they're doing. But we are in a unique opportunity to help a lot of new artists, which I love. That's a big part of this, is to be able to get new artists some exposure, or at least as much as we can get them, and as we grow, the exposure grows.
And that's really nice. That is an awesome thing to do for bands. And people think when you talk about 80s music or 80s style music that it's old or it's vintage. There are many new bands out there that are still making, I call it 80s style music.
Absolutely.
And the older bands are still making new music too. I mean,
I want to make a real clear distinction with the 80s, because I think although we do play a full realm of the 80s, and what I mean by that is we'll play, for example, we'll play Poison and Warrant, okay?
Right.
We're also going to play, you know, the big hits, but we're also going to play stuff like Spread Eagle, South Gang. We're going to play Metallica, Megadeth. We're going to play AC/DC. We're going to play Zebra. We run the gamut. So my motto is you're never going to know what's coming next, and that's what I like. I guess the best way I can paraphrase it, we're the best of both worlds. We're a cross between Air Nation and Ozzy's Boneyard, if you're XM satellite fans or Sirius XM fans. We kind of take the best of both worlds and mold them. So you'll have a Warren song, and then you're going to hear a Maiden song, and then maybe you'll get a power ballad, and then you're going to go into something from the 90s. Maybe you'll play a 90s Motley Crue song. It's kind of over the map, but yet it all makes sense in the end. It kind of changed together. But in doing that, you know, people think, oh, well, you're playing these new bands that are 80s style that they just picture, you know, Poison or Warren with their hair spiked up from like 89. Not necessarily. And you hit the nail on the head. It's not just quote unquote hair metal. It's that attitude that they bring. There's the melody. There's a guitar solo. It's not just, you know, D-tuned or B-tuned guitars. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with it. I love a lot of the new rock, but there's something to be said about some killer melody, you know, and a guitar. Hearing a guitar solo, they can make guitar sing. That's a big deal, you you know.
And there are many fans still out there of that kind of music. And
Absolutely.
I mean, look at Bon Jovi, new album coming out, here in a couple weeks. So these bands are still making this music.
And it's still relevant. And Bon Jovi, you know, it's bands like AC/DC and Bon Jovi and these bands that have surpassed any type of, they're still pulling a new band. Their crowds, you know, you could go to an AC/DC show or Bon Jovi show and see these young kids there. And you're like, whoa. And it's, so it's nice to see that these bands are still doing it and doing it well. And that's, you know, why it's important to spotlight these new artists. And I do get a lot, and I welcome more. So, you know, if you're in a band and you're hearing this interview right now, certainly get a hold of us, you know, through hard80sradio@gmail or through Facebook, and let me know. I mean, here's what I ask of my bands, my new artists that approach me. And a lot of them have small record deals, some just distribution deals, is that I want your 2 or 3 best written songs,
right.
postcard, you know, and I want production. It doesn't have to be huge, but it can't sound like it came out of a 4-track in your bedroom.
Sure,
you know, you know, there's Pro Tools, and it just has to sound good because it is going out to a large market worldwide on the internet, and we stream it. We have a very clean, reputable stream, which I'm proud to say. You know, took a lot of work, but we got there. And I'd love to, you know, get your EPK, your electronic press kit, your bio, and I'd love to help new bands, and that's really starting to pick up, and that's important too, because you know you have the old, but you also have the feature the new, and I was surprised to see that there is such a underswell of this style of music, and it's starting to gain popularity again, and I love that.
Yes, so. I do too. And just to note too about your radio station, that you do now have apps, phone apps. Which is wonderful.
Absolutely. You can take us. I mean, and that's kind of a crucial, essential now in today's world and market. We have apps for not only your iPhone and your iPad and stuff like that, but also Android, and they're free. And you can get them through our website at www.hard80sradio.com, and right on the homepage, if you scroll down, there's links, or if you just go to your app stores or Google Play stores, they'll be there as well, and then just type in Hard 80s Radio. You can get them as
yes,
well.
And I can attest to that. I a few weeks ago, I went in, I have an iPhone, and I pressed the app, easily downloaded it, and now it's on my phone, and I literally just go press a button.
It's a really clean, simple app, but sometimes in today's crazy, overcomplicated, it works. I like it because it's smooth, and you can get over to like social media through the app. Tells you what's playing. Gives you a big play button, mute button, volume button, slider volume. It is, you know, keep it simple, keep it clean, and that's kind of our motto.
Yes, very easy to download and use.
Right,
yes.
Right. So, yeah. But the other thing just to reiterate a little bit on the new artist, we also, part of our show, we have a show we call The Green Room that we do, and so we're streaming rock 24/7, and then we record our radio shows and we put them on demand, and we will be going live very shortly. Just looking at new software enable us to do that. But we also talk about new artists within our show as well, and a lot of these new artists will get interview time within the show as well. So there's